Hi, I'm Stuart from the Norfolk Honey Company and welcome back to my beekeeping channel. Today we're taking another look at our sponsored beehives. We're being supported this year through the active season by Happy Valley Honey, who've very kindly sent us over some of their products to demonstrate and try out through this active season. And it's the Honey Paw polystyrene Langstroth hive in particular that we're going to be focusing on through this summer, with all of the various manipulations that we're going to be carrying out, tips and techniques on our beehives. I'll leave all of the details to the Happy Valley Honey Company website so that you can take a look at their products in the description below, and please do go over and have a look at the full range, because there's some really interesting and exciting equipment that you can use in your beekeeping. Today we've got some more equipment to take a look at that was sent over by Paul at Happy Valley Honey. Particularly we have the Langstroth Nucleus boxes and also a Pollen Trap, and those are two products that I'm really interested in using and looking forward to getting to grips with. I've never used a Pollen Trap before, and this is a specific Pollen Trap that fits the ventilated floor that we looked at in the first video. If you haven't seen that first video, then I'll place a link so that you can have a look at that ventilated floor. So the first thing I'd like to take a look at is the Pollen Trap, and it fits into the actual floor of the beehive itself. So we'll take this hive apart and then we can fit the Pollen Trap in, and I can show you how it fits together in the floor and the process by which it removes the pollen. So here we have our ventilated floor. It's got the entrance block fitted as well. So if I remove the entrance block and then take out the removable floor section, so that comes out in one piece. And then the Pollen Trap comes in three parts. We have an entrance block, and we'll talk about that in a moment. We have the main body of the Pollen Trap with the double grid, and then at the back there's a removable sliding tray, which is the collection tray where the pollen falls through and gathers. It's a really simple, very easy to use Pollen Trap. It simply fits into the front section of the floor. So that's now sitting in place with this grid. The bees have to work their way through and will brush the pollen off onto the lower floor where it drops through into the collection tray. And then at the front we've got the entrance, and this fits into the front of the floor so that it butts up underneath the plastic grid and is locked into position. And if I put a brood body back on top, you'll see how the whole floor Pollen Trap system fits together. So now that we've put the entrance block in place, you can see the principle by which it works. The bees use the lower entrance to get through into the hive body itself, but they have to go through the two grids, those pink grids, before they can actually access the brood body itself. In climbing through those grids, the bees are actually brushing off the pollen as they climb, so the pollen drops through into the collection tray at the back, which simply slides out, and then you can empty the pollen from this into another container. You'll notice that we've got some plastic tubing at the front here. This is to allow the drones to be able to fly from the hive and not get trapped, because that grid is going to prevent the drones from crawling through and using the bottom entrance. I'm really looking forward to using this pollen trap. I've never used a pollen trap before, and I know there are various pitfalls that you can find yourself in, so we need to just do a little bit of research to find out the optimum times for using it. I know that taking too much pollen from a beehive is going to be detrimental, so we need to make sure that we don't leave the pollen trap in place for a prolonged period of time, but it will enable us to collect some pollen, and then we can save it, maybe pop it in the freezer, save it for this colony to then feed back to them in the spring when we have a shortage of pollen perhaps. We could also mix that pollen in with a pollen substitute so that we're feeding it back to the bees, or indeed we could, if we were collecting sufficient, we could actually sell it, because it's a product that beekeepers can sell. However, I don't think that we'll be collecting sufficient to be able to then market it. So that's the pollen trap. Let's now take a look at the Nucleus Box. Okay, so here we've got the Happy Valley Honey Paw Polystyrene Langstroth Nucleus Box, and again we've got some really good features here that we need to talk about. So let's just break it down into the individual component parts and just show you exactly how it goes together. So we'll start with the floor, just a standard floor, no mesh, so it's a solid floor. It has a slope running from back to front. It has these raised pins that will engage with the actual body of the brood box itself, and a simple entrance block similar to the same style block that fits in the ventilated floor, and that just slides into the front, and again we've got a narrow and a wide entrance. The actual Nucleus Box itself comes with 4 frames, so it's a 4-frame Langstroth Nucleus Box. But remember, the frames are quite large, so you're going to be able to get quite a lot of bees into this box before you need to move it out into a full-size hive. One of the features that I really like about the Honey Paw Polystyrene Hive is that on the inside, I don't know whether you can see it or not, but we've actually got a plastic runner. In some of the other polystyrene products that I've used, there isn't this plastic runner, and the polystyrene tends to break off, but this is going to protect the polystyrene and allow the frames to move quite freely. So we'll pop that on there. We've got some wax to embed, so we'll need to embed the wax into those, and I'll produce a video showing you my attempts at wax embedding. And then we've also got a feeder for it, and again the feeder is a smaller version of the full-size feeder that we've got. It's got the entrance at one end where we'll have a clear polycarbonate sheet that fits into there to prevent the bees from coming into the syrup and drowning, but they'll also have access. You can possibly see that there's a ribbed section here which will allow the bees to climb up and down, and that fits neatly on the top. And then finally we've got the roof, which also doubles up again as a floor, which is going to be quite a useful feature, I think, as we go through the season and into the autumn. We've got a strap to keep everything strapped neatly together, and I think that that's a really useful and well-made unit. It's been well thought through, and as we go through using these in the season, I'll be able to show you some of the features. One of the things that I would like to just show you that has immediately crossed my mind is that we can fit 2 of these nucleus bodies onto a full-sized hive body. So let me just show you that. So here we've got our full-size hive. If I remove the roof, you can see that 2 of these nuke boxes will fit perfectly well on top of this brood body. and then the roof will fit neatly on top. And the whole thing can be strapped together for security. And what we've got here is perhaps a configuration for overwintering bees. So 2 4-frame nuke bodies on the top with the main brood body in here, so that in the spring we can split this down and we've automatically got bees that we can use for maybe creating an increase or maybe for queen rearing, that kind of thing. And I think as the season progresses, we'll be able to look at this more closely and see exactly how we can use this setup to our best advantage. So that's it for today. We'll be taking this equipment out to use in one of the apiaries over the weekend, so we'll hopefully be able to show you some of that as we go through in the coming weeks. My thanks again to Paul at Happy Valley Honey for supplying these Honey Paw polystyrene Langstroth hives, Pollen Trap and nuke boxes. I think these are going to be really effective for us, and I'm looking forward to sharing some of the videos that we can produce with these to show you how we get on. That's it for today. Don't forget to take a look at the Happy Valley Honey website. I'll pop the web address in the description below, and don't forget to check out our Patreon page where you can help support us in creating lots more content. We'll catch up next time, but for now, thanks for watching.